It disappointed me when my fellow youth were shot to death instead of being just to them. Hapa ni rafiki yangu anaitwa Tony. A man who fighting the crocodile.
Each year in the United States, approximately 5 million children go through some form of traumatic experience. More than 2 million of these are victims of physical or sexual abuse. Millions more are living in the terrorizing atmosphere of domestic violence, natural disasters, car accidents, life-threatening medical conditions, painful procedures, and exposure to community violence. All this can have traumatic impact on the child. In Kenya, child therapist Florence Mweni says there are no statistics which reflect the effect of these years' post-election violence on children.
I haven't come across any such studies, and I think it is high time that we started keeping records and documenting some of these activities, because they would be able to inform policy.
Children more than anyone else, child advocates say, bore the brunt of post-election violence in January and February.
Experience at the camps is most of the children who are more vulnerable were the ones who were not accompanied.
The children were able to see a lot. Of course, most of them experienced it firsthand. Others saw it on television, and they saw it in the media.
Sasa watoto wanaimba tu siasa.
So vivid are the memories of the violence in these children from Kibera area. They are undergoing counseling at the Guadalupe Church in Kibera.
Sikia vibaya kwa yale yaliyotokea kwa sababu aunti yangu, shangazi yangu aliuliwa, akachomewa nyumba yake.
Hizo ni affect vibaya juu niliona watu wakiuliwa. Walinikataza kushuka chini, juu walijua nitakufa.
Akaua msichana mmoja wa umri wa miaka 10. Alafu ambulance ikakuja wakambeba wakaenda hospitali.
And when they came here, most of them, they were so hostile. They could not work together with others.
Experiences like the post-election violence are all new to children. It's unknown what impact they'll have on the children's future development.
We need to come up with long-term programs for addressing the psychological well-being of these children. We need to conduct research and some studies to see how children have been affected both in the short term and in the long term.
We say trauma travels in time. When they're affected at this age and it's not dealt with, as they grow up with it. So it's not that time will heal. They just grow up with it. And until that time they realize it's too much and they want some support, the challenge will be you have to bring them back to the time when it happened. And usually that is a challenging period for an adult to deal with their childhood issues.
These children are just a few of the thousands in Kenya who are still trying to come to terms with what happened. Unlike adults, they process traumatic events differently.
You know, children receive information, sometimes even in the form of images of things that they have seen, including even the smells. They keep it in their mind. It is like a tape. It's like a videotape that sometimes keeps on replaying and replaying.
Councillor Dina Kitui says many symptoms of trauma began early.
This was in a camp in Eldoret where a child actually, in the evenings, the child could start having diarrhea, and the mother imagined that mainly it was bad food. And when we were doing a follow-up of what happened during that time and the evening, during the therapy sessions, we realized that that was the time when actually they were being attacked and moving.
But some parents say it's difficult to address children's stressful symptoms while they are attempting to rebuild their families, homes and lives.
Mimi ilini affect kwanza, imeniacha na magonjwa mengi, magonjwa ya mafikira, tunafikiria mambo mengi, vile tunaweza kukula, tunaweza kuishi.
Unajua nayo maisha pia ni ngumu. Sasa wazazi nadhani wana engage sana kutafuta vile hata watasaidika na vile watoto watakula. Ndio maana wanajikipu kwa hiyo busy.
Despite the end of the violence, many children are haunted by the events of early this year, with many of them still living in the camps.
Hii last term, second term, kuna mtoto ambaye hakusoma vizuri sababu ya hiyo. Akienda shule, anakumbuka tu vile walikuwa wakienda shule na wanakutana na polisi na nini na watu wanalia.
At the SOS Children's Home in Buruburu, some children are still living there. Some too afraid even to talk to strangers.
Kuna wale wenye walikuwa nakaa wanashtuka sana, wao walikuwa wametoka kama Kibera. Walikuwa na kila mara hata mkitazama TV.
The acute post-traumatic period is characterized by an attempt by children to reorganize, re-evaluate and restore their pre-traumatic world. Kitui, who has written a book, A Place to Talk, says it will help the children heal. Join us tomorrow as we bring you more on this two-part series on how children are trying to rebuild their lives after the post-election violence. For Eyewitness News, I'm Violet Otindo.